you got to think. Fuck everything. Instagram, Facebook, all social media, and just focus 100%, 110, 120% on boxing. It's over. It's over. But right now, I gotta work on me. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's tough to do that and work on me at the same time. You know what I mean?
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So a lot has transpired in the last 24 hours when it comes to Adrian Broner pulling out of this Omar Figueroa fight at the last minute and blaming it on mental health issues. As you guys can see on the screen, Adrian Broner, he put out this long post on Instagram, Twitter, or one of his social accounts, and basically talked about his mental health issues. Now, very shortly after Adrian Broner posted that and pulled out of that fight, Gervonta Tank Davis, he posts this. He says, boxers got to stop using mental health shit to get out of stuff. Yo ass just a bitch. Now, guys, it's not a coincidence that Gervonta Tank Davis, who has been good friends with Adrian Broner for quite some time, says this right after Adrian Broner pulls out of this fight and blames it on mental health. So while keeping that in mind, Gervonta, he puts up a second tweet. He follows the first one up and he kind of retracts what he just originally said. He then says, I'm not talking about Adrian Broner because it was that with him. And then immediately after that, Gervonta, he completely deletes the tweet. Listen, this is what I suspected. This is what I knew what was going to happen. At the end of the day, boxers are going to get a lot of backlash for claiming mental health in a sport where mental strength is required. It takes mental strength to even get in the ring. This is the reason why the majority of people would never get in the ring, because you have to have a tough mentality. So when I was saying that boxers are going to receive backlash, I'm talking about from other boxers, because other boxers, they know how tough you have to be mentally to even be in the ring. They know how courageous you have to be. Once again, notice when Gervonta Tank Davis, when he posted this, not only did he post this right after Adrian Broner said what he said about mental health, but you also have to notice the plural in the post that Gervonta put up. When he says boxers, right? He didn't say Ryan Garcia needs to stop. He said boxers need to stop using this mental health shit. And that's because Gervonta understands where your head has to be when you're in a sport like this. Now, something else I wanted to talk about. I noticed from the last couple videos about Adrian Broner's mental health situation, there's obviously been a couple of Mexican fans that have been saying, hey man, keep the same energy. When you guys were talking about Ryan Garcia, remember what you said about Ryan. Let me start by saying this. How can you even fix your mouth to try to compare Ryan Garcia to Adrian Broner? Adrian Broner fought everyone they put in front of him. Adrian Broner moved up to 147, a weight class he should have never been in. He moved there to fight one of the toughest and one of the best fighters in the welterweight division, Sean Porter. And Adrian Broner, he did it because it was such a great offer that he could not refuse from Al Haymon. I've already told you guys, Al Haymon, he gives these boxers such great incentives. He tells them things like, look, if you lose, don't even worry about it. We're going to bring you back for another world title. You're going to make another couple of $1 million. Don't even worry if you do lose, right? So it's win-win for you. And that's how he explains it to these fighters. So Adrian Broner, he took on everyone. He fought Manny Pacquiao, the fighter that Ryan Garcia claimed he was going to fight to justify avoiding Gervonta Tank Davis when he had been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis for over a year. Adrian Broner was always willing to fight the best. That is not the reputation of Ryan Garcia. It is the complete contrary. When you think of Ryan Garcia, fans think of a fighter that has cried wolf over and over and over again. Ryan Garcia, he made promises that he could not keep. And he even admitted this right after he beat Tago. He said, you know what, I said some things that wasn't true. Fights, I talked about fights that weren't going to happen. And he said, this time, I'm not going to do that. He said, this time, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lie to my fans. So by Ryan Garcia's own admission, Before, when he was constantly calling out Gervonta Tank Davis, and he started all of a sudden said, oh, change your plans. Now I'm fighting Manny Pacquiao. And then when Manny Pacquiao's people came out and said that's not true, when Oscar De La Hoya had came out and said that that's not true, Ryan's just doing this for Instagram. This is when Ryan Garcia all of a sudden says, I'm having anxiety attacks. I'm having mental health issues. I got to take off from boxing. So it's ridiculous to try to compare him just because they're both using the same fancy term of the year, mental health. Win, lose, or draw, Adrian Broner has already proved himself. He's already shown that he's willing to walk through the fire. While fighters like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are constantly going after the biggest and baddest opponents in their division, Ryan Garcia, who's around the same age, is fighting guys that just came off of losses, like Javier Fortuna, or guys we've never heard of, like Tago. When Adrian Broner was at Ryan Garcia's stage in his boxing career, Adrian Broner was fighting against the top-notch guys in his division. So while the mental health deal is still an excuse to me no matter who uses it, Adrian Broner, Ryan Garcia, or Danny Garcia, but you can't talk about keeping the same energy, because to keep the same energy, they would have to be doing the same things. They would have to have the same reputation when it comes to taking on tough challenges. Listen, I already told you guys in my last video about this. Adrian Broner definitely has issues. He definitely has mental issues. No doubt about it. But that's who Adrian Broner is. He's had these issues since he was a little child. See, because people have to understand, mental health is not just one single health condition. It is an array of different things. I mean, if you only like to wear green and you feel something is going to happen to you if you change the color of your clothes, that will qualify as mental health. Other examples of mental health include depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and addictive behaviors. Kenny Porter, he told me this story long time ago because he used to take Broner and a lot of the boxers, a lot of the champions today, he used to take them to tournaments and he would work their corners. And he said they were somewhere and they were playing basketball. This is when Adrian Broner was a kid, right? Adrian Broner got mad the way the game was going or something, and he ran over to Kenny Porter and he kicked him. Remember, Adrian Broner is a little kid and he's kicking a grown man, and he's doing it with anger. He's not just playing around. He's kicking him because he's mad. How often do you see a little kid kick a grown man? I'm talking about out of anger. These are the mental issues, I'm telling you, the mental health issues that Adrian Broner has had all his life. And he has been very successful as a boxer until the competition got a little bit better and he once again stepped up and fought at a weight class he probably never should have fought at. So at the end of the day, while mental health does exist, it just isn't something that you can really use that much of as an excuse in the sport of boxing, where once again, your mental health is required. Broner had already admitted in those clips that I played that it was not really mental health he was dealing with. It was outside distractions, girls, clubs, and he says everything, which means other things as well. And all boxers have these exact same temptations. This is where discipline comes in. You have to be disciplined. You have to stay on track. You cannot allow outside distractions to interfere with what you're trying to accomplish in the sport of boxing. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.